As I stood at the edge of the old mansion's grounds, a chill ran down my spine. The once grand estate loomed before me, its towering spires and turrets reaching toward the moon like skeletal fingers. I had always been drawn to this place, with its secrets and mysteries whispering through the wind. My name is Emily, and I'm a historian, specializing in the study of old mansions and their families. I had spent years researching the history of this particular estate, known as Ravenswood Manor. Its story was one of tragedy and loss, of love and betrayal. The manor had been built in the late 1800s by Malcolm Ravenswood, a wealthy industrialist with a reputation for ruthlessness. He had lived there with his wife, Elizabeth, and their two children, James and Sophia. But the family's happiness was short-lived. Tragedy struck when James, the eldest son, died under mysterious circumstances. The official story was that he had fallen from his horse while riding through the woods, but rumors persisted of foul play. Elizabeth was devastated, and her relationship with Malcolm began to fray. As the years passed, the family's fortunes began to decline. Malcolm's business empire crumbled, and he was forced to sell off parts of the estate to pay his debts. Elizabeth became reclusive, rarely leaving the manor. Sophia, the youngest child, grew up in a household shrouded in grief and secrecy. I had always been fascinated by Sophia's story. She had grown up in the shadow of her brother's death, and her life had been marked by tragedy and loss. I had spent years searching for her diary, which was rumored to contain the truth about James's death and the dark secrets that had haunted the Ravenswood family. As I approached the manor, I noticed that the front door was slightly ajar. I pushed it open and stepped inside, calling out to see if anyone was there. The only response was the creaking of the old wooden floorboards beneath my feet. I began to explore the manor, my footsteps echoing off the walls. The interior was just as I had imagined it, grand, but faded. The walls were adorned with cobweb-covered portraits, and the air was thick with dust. As I reached the top floor, I stumbled upon a door that I hadn't noticed before. It was hidden behind a tattered tapestry, and it looked like it hadn't been opened in years. I pushed the door open, and a musty smell wafted out. Inside, I found a small room that appeared to have been left untouched for decades. The walls were lined with old books, and there was a small, ornate box sitting on a nearby table. I opened the box, and a faint scent of lavender wafted out. Inside, I found Sophia's diary. As I began to read, I discovered that Sophia's life had been far more complicated than I had ever imagined. She had grown up in a household of secrets and lies, where the truth was hidden behind a mask of respectability. James's death had been no accident. He had been murdered, and Sophia had witnessed the whole thing. But she had been silenced, forced to keep the truth hidden for fear of reprisal. As I read on, I realized that Sophia's story was not just a tale of tragedy and loss. It was also a story of courage and resilience, of a woman who had refused to be silenced. I spent hours reading Sophia's diary, mesmerized by her story. As the sun began to set, I reluctantly closed the book, knowing that I had to leave. But as I turned to depart, I heard a faint noise behind me. I spun around, but there was no one there. The room was silent, except for the sound of my own heartbeat. And then, I saw it. A piece of paper, tucked away in the corner of the room. It was a note, written in Sophia's handwriting. "Meet me in the garden at midnight," it read. "Come alone." I felt a shiver run down my spine. Who was Sophia meeting in the garden? And what secrets was she hiding? I knew that I had to find out.